And she said,
okay, he good. He touched it. It's not money based. They don't need cash in their hands.
right. So now the focus on
Regardless of the fact, you don't know. You don't know fucking intentions.
Kitchen at what are people? Listen, I'm gonna take my time down here. Right. I know this. When I tried to conduct, come on. And I'm talking about my in-law niece. My niece, I done bought her stuff.
Born in the same place I was, but they decided to move along. They traveled here.
I had a homeboy, and I'm thinking about using the motherfucker. Now I'm trying to. I want to get it right.
They both was the same, but once the money been through, and you just scripted this shit.
They got some diamonds in them. I need them to expect you to pay the bills, take care of their family, help you watch their nieces and nephews. I'm cooking up. I cook up. Welcome. This is the Smartest Dumb People, and I'm the host, Anthony, that dude Johnson. And always, to my left, Quando Rondo, my high school bud. We got a special guest in the building. He goes by the name of Freeway Rick Ross. Welcome to the show, King. I appreciate you coming through, man. A straight legend. We got a lot to talk about, man. We appreciate you for coming through with the Smartest Dumb People. We really want to give you your flowers now because you are the king of hustling. Before we even start the show, I got a little clip I want to show y'all. We got to show the clip round of the bracket of how fast he came up. So here go the bracket, and we'll be right back. All right, so that's the actual clip of what this man did in the drug game. And like I said, we're not here to really boast and brag about the drug game, but we got to pay homage to somebody that made it out the drug game, because I can actually speak for myself. I made it out, and I never wanted to go back. I didn't make the money you made, but just to dabble in anything is crazy in itself. So what made you even get involved into any type of drug activity?
Running from poverty.
Running from poverty.
Running from poverty.
And we had that conversation on the show all the time about how you become a product of your environment. Do you believe that?
110. You know, the way you look at it is my tennis coach told me something like this one time. When do a kid stop using the bathroom for themselves? You know, what age? You know,
2.
I saw him older than that.
Really?
It's when somebody brings it to their attention that they shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
So the same thing, what you basically said is the same thing with like being involved in the drug game. You didn't know any better?
Well, I don't think anybody who gets in the drug game really knows better.
That's a fact.
And I'm not trying to, give them no crutch and nothing like that. Yeah, because I personally don't need it. Let me say that I would never do what I did in the drug business. I would never go back. But I learned so many valuable lessons from it. Right. And I would never want to get those lessons up. If I had the magical wand, people ask me if I could do it all over again, would I do it? And no, I couldn't do it over again knowing what I know today. But if I come from the same infant stage that I was in when I got started selling drugs, I know how easy it would be
to get caught up in it.
To get caught up in it again. Yeah.
So basically, in my opinion, with the product of your environment, like I said, I did a little things back in the day myself. I wasn't proud of it. I'm not proud of it to this day. But it was literally all I had. We didn't have other ways to make money. We wasn't getting jobs. We wasn't getting jobs offered to us. So when you got into the game, how old were you?
19.
19 years old. This is before or after tennis? Because I got to talk about tennis.
After tennis.
After tennis.
My tennis career basically they said was over. I couldn't read or write, so I didn't do well in school. You know, I was smart enough in school to where when it was time to take a test that needed to be passed, I go to the smartest kid in this classroom and I copy their page.
Let me see that test.
Hey, with no problem.
You walk with me the long way. Let me see that test.
So I always did just enough to stay eligible, and for the teachers not to throw me out of school.
Was you really good at tennis?
Yeah.
I was pretty good. You know, the top blacks used to come and get me to work out with them.
And that's what I wanted to talk about too. When I read the book, it said you fucked with Richard Williams. You were fucking with Venus.
Not that Richard Williams.
Oh, that's a
the
different
Richard Williams that I got taught by. He taught
that Richard Williams.
He taught that. He taught
wow.
Venus.
Yeah, because that's before that. Yeah.
Yeah, he was before.
Yeah.
He's probably done more for black tennis maybe than anybody.
What made a black kid from LA get into tennis? Well, not LA, from California, get into tennis?
LA.
Oh, you okay?
LA,
get into
LA.
tennis though.
Well, we were playing roller derby on the tennis court. So this old guy goes up and he got these baskets of balls and like 10 or 15 rackets. And it's about 12 or 30. It's our little group. You know, we ain't no gang.
Yeah,
you know, but we all stick together. I mean, today we would be considered a gang.
For sure.
You know,
same neck of the
we
woods.
didn't go out and fight people over no colors and none of that. But if you did something to one of us, we all gonna get that ass.
yeah, for sure.
So we probably would be considered a gang. So we was on the tennis court playing roller derby, and this guy pulled up and he was like, "I bet y'all 50 cents you can't hit that ball in that box." What? I played football, I played basketball, I played baseball. But you know, I'm fast. So we all felt we were athletes, so we felt we could play tennis. I didn't stick with it at first, but a couple of other guys did. And we come home from school one day and they had boxes of Adidas sweatsuits, tennis shoes.
You were just playing?
And this is before Nike.
So this is from just playing tennis?
Yeah, just playing tennis.
And they would get us stuff for free?
It was on the freeway.
Sponsor from playing
I
tennis.
didn't know sponsors was way back in the day like that. What year is this we talking about?
71.
71. Damn, you was,
you
was how old? 71?
12.
12 years old, 71. Okay.
Shit, I gotta get some of that gear. Shit.
Absolutely.
I got to.
I gotta ask you,
I'm all in.
Did you grow up in a two-parent home?
Nope.
Did you know your father?
I met my father in 94 when I got out of prison the first time.
Wow.
I knew of him and had spoken on the phone, but we had never like kicked it.
Yeah,
so
I
didn't like my father.
personal.
I didn't like my father. I took my mama's side.
So do you think that it was ill intent behind your father's actions to not come around, or he was just being a man? Because I find some men just become.
My mama was hell. You know what I'm saying? My mom wasn't no joke. So.
Yeah.
And I imagine she probably gave him hell too. You know.
Yeah.
And,
now that you look back at it as a grown up,
she would. She gave me hell. You know, and she probably did. You know, he said it was two sides to the story, and I imagine that it was. You know, the truth probably somewhere in the middle. But at the end of the day, you know, my mama didn't fuck with him, so neither did I.
Yeah, you just stood on that.
Yeah, that's how it was. You know, even when I had all the money, I never bought him nothing.
Wow,
You know
that's
what I'm saying?
crazy. That's tough.
He never bought me
because
nothing.
right.
He never bought me nothing. I felt like you didn't buy me nothing. I ain't buying you nothing. You didn't care about me. I don't care about you. You know, but after I got out, we got to kick it, and I kind of saw. You know, he was an entrepreneur too in his own little way. You know, he raised cows and hogs, and you know, I stayed with him for about a week.
He had a farm.
He was a farmer. He's a farm boy.
No shit.
But then LA Times did a story, and I found out he was also a bootlegger at one time too. You know, where he used to run alcohol.
So that's just in your blood. That
hustle.
That hustle.
Yeah.
He was an athlete. He was an athlete. He played football. You know, it's crazy.
You wouldn't even know it though. Genetics is a motherfucker, and that shit is instilled in you. You wouldn't even know it.
It does. So
It's crazy.
So what made you, like, when you originally got into tennis and you realized you wasn't going to go to college because you couldn't read or write? What made you realize I need to learn how to read and write?
well, I didn't want to learn how to read and write until I was in prison. When I went to prison, I got a life sentence without the possibility of parole. And you know, the guys were like, man, first of all, they told me, why are you dependent on this lawyer? And I was like, what you mean? I paid this dude a lot of money, you know?
Yeah.
Why shouldn't I depend on him? He's a great lawyer. He went to Harvard University, top of his class. You know, he would beat state cases left and right, you know. And even a couple of federal cases, he got a couple of my guys out.
Who turned you on to him? And then how do you just
one of my
know?
one of my old connections turned me on. But I've been working with him this time 15, 20 years. You know, he was like my homeboy.
You on small shit though. Yeah, it is.
No, big cases too, but you know, it's a little different when you fighting a case from on the street. See, when my homeboys was fighting their cases, I was on the street.
Yeah.
So I was able to do things for them that nobody was doing for me.
Right, right.
So I'm there, and then one of the older dudes that had been in jail already, had a life sentence already. He was like, man, you depending on this lawyer to do for you what you should be doing for yourself.
Correct.
And I really didn't get it at first, and I scratched my head, and I was like, what does this dude mean? He said, man, don't dude got a wife? And I was like, yeah. So you think that he gonna put more time into your case than he put into his wife? And I thought about it. He said, he ain't got kids?
Right.
I'm like, yeah, he got kids. Then he got other clients? Do you think he's gonna drop all of that just for you?
Right. You getting a small piece of this motherfucker.
But I should have been putting my all into myself.
Into yourself. Yeah.
Because that was all I had. If I lost my life inside of that jailhouse.
So you think a lot of people do that though? Just depend on the next motherfucker when you in there?
We're naturally taught that though. You gotta understand the lawyer is supposed to protect you and get you out of these cases. But let's get back to ground zero first. I want to get back to ground zero. So when you was originally hustling, you didn't run into the plug right away. You was just...
Oh no, I started off, I had $125, my boy had $125.
And then it just took off from there and you ran into the plug?
Well, how I really got introduced, because I never saw cocaine before. One of the big homies had went to college playing football, and he was playing behind the guy who was running up for the Heisman Trophy, so he had access to a whole lot of stuff, because that was his boy.
For sure.
You know, they was tight.
Yeah, next to the
so he come home one day and he's like, man, come by the house, I got something. So I go by the crib and he lay out cocaine on the table. And it was the first time I'd ever seen cocaine, other than the movies, you know, with Superfly. It was my first time ever knowing about cocaine. And that was my guy, right? I love Richard Roundtree. You know, like, this dude here.
He that guy.
Black man, he's stronger than Arthur Ashe. He won me over bigger than Arthur Ashe was my man.
Okay.
Yeah,
now I got a new man. You know what I'm saying? Arthur gonna take a back seat because this dude here, he whooping whole police forces and everything. You know, telling you ever saw Superfly?
I love Superfly, but it was so long ago, man. I was a child.
I used to watch that thing over and over. When I got my first VCR, I had 3 tapes.
He used to fuck the police up for real.
Man, he didn't play with him, man. He told me, say, Cracker, doing my dirty laundry ain't gonna save you. And that big leg daughter of yours, she go to such and such a school. So the cops started looking crazy. He said, man, this brother done outthought me. He said, that bag, ain't no money in that bag. I got the money and the money gone. I put a contract on y'all.
Superfly was dope as hell, man.
Right.
Make sure you like and share. So what was you saying about when you first seen cocaine at that moment?
So my boy laid it on the table, and you know, he's like, man, try it. So we all took snorts, you know. I didn't know no better, you know. And then he gave me a $50 piece. He said, go see what you can do with it. And I was like, man. So I got my little homie with me, Al, Big Lope, they called him, and I was like, come on, man, let's go see what we can do with this shit. So we go in and we asked everybody, all the OGs, we running, man, is this cocaine? Nobody knows. They ain't never seen that shit either, right?
That is what it is.
So finally we run into Martin the Pimp, and Martin was like, man, come on, let's go by the house. And you know, he cooked it up for the first time and wound up smoking up the whole rock, man. I was so green. He's like, man, once he cooked it up, he said, yeah, it cooked up. well, I need to try a piece of it. So I chipped a little piece off. And we're talking about something the size of a match head.
Yeah, right.
So if you chip off of it, it's bad.
Knocked it out.
You can barely see it. So once he did that, he's like, man, I just pay y'all Friday. And let me smoke all this. So he smoked the whole thing up. So we left. Oh, man, I don't want to kill Martin. I'm like, man, you can't kill Martin, man. Stop it. Don't even think about it. So we ride in the car. Now I got to call my boy and tell him we ain't got this shit no more. It's gone. We ain't got the money.
They get mad.
So I'm at the house sitting on the porch, man, and Martin pulled up in a Cadillac. And then I would jump this big old buff dude that I had never seen before, you know. I had been sheltered with tennis. Tennis kind of like kept me
away from the streets like that.
Yeah, because I had never even seen a lowrider, right? LA full of lowriders, but I had never seen one before.
No shit.
My boys take me, and that's how I really got started, because when they took me to the street races, after I wasn't going to college, so now I'm hanging back in the hood with the homies. Right. I went to junior high school with, elementary with, and they gang banging and low ride and everything, right? So now I'm hanging with them. I go to street races and I see all these pretty ass cars, and they got some pretty women with them too.
Yeah, for sure.
I gotta get a car and get.
So when I see that, I said, I want one of them.
Yeah,
I want. And then me, what I found out about myself later on when I was in prison, I've never been afraid to walk up and ask you, how did you do it? So I started going around to everybody in the thing. Man, how you get this car like this? How you do that? So I run in this one dude named Dirty Benny, and he was like, man, come by the shop.
Yeah.
So I go by his crib the next day, and he said, man, tonight we going out. We're going to go out, and they still in cars.
Yeah.
Get in that
We're
car.
Put you something together. Yeah.
So I drive the car for them. They pay me $50. So that's my first hustle.
Man, when you said you've seen a lot of pretty women in nice cars, I tell people this all the time on the show. The power of the PUSSY. That's why niggas get the haircut and try to dress fly. So all men have one common goal. They want nice things and they want the flyest woman. Yeah.
To share with a woman.
So
what good is to have a big house if you can't share with a woman?
Do you know how many black men are incarcerated, dead or in jail behind trying to get some cooter? You know what I'm saying? So, but for a ultimate drug dealer like yourself, or a mogul behind that shit, for you to say the first thing you thought when you went to a street racing thing, you said these fly women, these fly cars. That's what everybody in the poverty community
the car is just
wants.
to get the woman.
Yeah.
You really want the car. I mean, it's cool to have the car, but you really want the woman. Because she ain't gonna ride in no bucket. So you want to get that fly car.
It's so symbolic to the neighbor. It's so symbolic to impoverished communities in any hood you grow up in, because that's the first thing. Like when I started hustling, it was because I seen a dude with a nice car, had a lot of money, had a beautiful woman, and I just feel like in our community, that's the first thing we see. We don't see entrepreneurs like yourself. That's what the show is about, and I'm glad you're on the show. It's about having an entrepreneur in your face telling, hey, this is what I did, these are the mistakes I made, this is how you can change it. Don't be me. And I like how you preach that. Don't be me. Be better than me. This is the mistakes I made. Now I got a second chance at life. We just had a brother on the show the other day that got sentenced to 132 years, I think, for attempted murder. And now he got a second chance at life, and he's living by that. So we see these young men, or even yourself, getting out of prison, and y'all doing something that's outside of being a drug dealer, or now we can do it legally. Let's be honest. In LA, weed is legal and all that shit.
Hey, I benefited from that.
Yeah, and you got your own strand, right?
I got my own strand. I got a license to sell.
Yeah.
Marijuana. I own a dispensary.
Oh yeah.
You should. You're showing half of LA right now with dispensaries. if anybody deserves, listen. You know how many let's be honest. You know how many white motherfuckers in society right now is living off of what you were a huge creative part of. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody deserves 10 dispensaries in LA right now at the top line of the highest strand, it's you. So like I said, motherfuckers need to give you your flowers by it, because there's a lot of millionaires you made off of this shit.
No question.
You know, and I appreciate you, King, for being on the show. But I want to know, when did you run into the plug?
Well, it came slow, man. Like I said, I started with the 125. So when Mouse put up, the dude was Big Mouse. Big Mouse used to be with Tookie and Jamel and those guys. So Mouse was a pimp now.
Was Tookie out when?
Tookie was out then.
Okay.
He was out then.
Mm-hmm.
So they bought $100 worth.
Mhm.
So Martin, even though he had smoked up my whole 50, he still brought back some money,
Yeah.
and I was able to redeem myself with my guy.
Yeah.
You know, when I called
He
him,
made
said,
it right. And
Yeah.
brought more motherfuckers to the
He
table.
brought more people to the table, and that's how my clientele got started. So I started from there, and then my boy Al was in jail at the time, and then I really started rolling for burglary. He wound up getting out. I told him the situation, like, man, I've been working for Mike, man. I just been selling this stuff for him, and but I know a little bit about the game now. With $300, we can go get an 8, we get an 8, we get 900 back. You know, like Master
shit.
Spade,
Right.
said, go
Yeah.
to the gold man, you get an 8 track. So me and him went and stole a car. And I was fighting 7 counts of GTA. That there waiting my little chop shop. So I was scared to steal cars. So I was doing bad, other than what I was doing for Mike. But Mike wasn't paying me because it was just like a homie thing. Like, I just sell this shit for you. I ain't even tripping.
So
on
you was selling? You telling me you was selling dope and wasn't making no profit?
none.
That's nuts.
None.
But was it
But
more
what it
naive,
did-
or was it more you was
That's
naive,
my
or just your
homeboy.
homie?
That's
Yeah,
my
yeah.
homie. You know, I ain't tripping on no money.
Yeah,
You know?
Wow.
My homeboy.
Okay.
You know, I want to see him win. But what it did for me is I learned the game.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So when Al got out, I was doing like $300 a day. You know,
And they know who to come to.
They all
and they know
coming
who
to
to
me.
come to.
They didn't go
Yeah.
to Mike because Mike don't
Yeah.
want to see nobody.
Yeah.
So everybody coming to me. So when the homie get out of jail, I told him the situation. He's like, man, all you do, you go start the car up. I'll do everything. So we went and knocked the car. I started it. He got in it. Boom. Took the wheels off of it, sold the wheels. We had $125 a piece. We were still short on the 8, but we was able to talk him into letting us have 50 on the arm.
On the arm.
Yeah. And I ain't been broke since.
Yeah.
So you stole a car. You got back right with him. I'm trying to find
Did you build
that.
your car up? Well, stealing all these damn cars, did you build yours up?
Man, what I did, right, I had chromed everything on the bottom of my car. I did that stealing.
Yeah, that's
Not
what I'm
selling
saying.
dope.
Yeah,
Not
right,
selling
right.
dope. I did all
You
that
say stealing?
stealing.
You mean stealing and taking the parts, or stealing and selling the parts, and then
Stealing cars,
Stealing
selling
car,
cars.
get your deals what you needed first.
Yeah, so I'm fixing my car up. I had my lowrider was all chromed on the bottom. I mean, I did good stealing cars. You know, I did good stealing cars. But I took all the money and I put it in this damn lowrider.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
save nothing.
That's why
for
you didn't see
myself.
no profit,
So
basically.
when I started selling cocaine, I said, man, you ain't gonna make the same mistake you made with this
The
damn
car.
lowrider.
Yeah, with this game.
You're
Yeah.
not gonna take all your money and put it in no car. You're gonna put the money back into the game.
Profit, yeah.
So when I started selling dope, I just took all my money and I didn't touch it. You know, I didn't buy new shoes. I didn't want no car no more. I took the car and I crushed it. Or people was like, why you crush the car, man? You put all that time and energy, and it was a convertible too.
Damn.
if you crush it, you get money for it.
Nope.
You should have sold that
What I
motherfucker.
did is
Yeah, just
I
crush
was
your
crushing
head.
the mentality.
Yeah,
that I
exactly.
had.
Oh,
The
Exactly.
mentality
I see
to
what you're
allow
saying.
the car to pimp me.
Yeah.
I was allowing that car to pimp me, basically.
Yeah.
I was going to go to prison for that car.
Yeah.
So this time, I didn't want to go to prison for no car. I didn't want to go to prison, you know, to be fly no more.
Yeah.
You know, if I went to prison this time, it was going to be because I was trying to build an empire. So I wanted to build an empire now. So
That's where
I
that
wanted
started.
body shops, motels. You know, I wanted the stuff that was going to give me sustainable
Revenue.
income forever.
Yeah, that's dope, man.
Wow, yeah.
So, and it's crazy. Like, I don't think most men would have that mentality to say, "I'm gonna take this prized possession of mine and just basically scrap the motherfucker and start over." So that already showed the mentality that you had right away, that you was willing to take sacrifices that other men won't even make. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's dope and deep, and it's actually a brilliant concept if you can find something that's tearing you apart to just completely dead that shit and start. It's like kind of reincarnate yourself.
That's one of my keys to success,
Mm.
is that I'm able to do that. If I find something is not working for me, I'm able to get rid of it. I don't care what it is. If it's my brother, if it's my girl, if I find out that they not benefiting me or that they're tearing me down, I'm done.
Mm.
You know, that's how I became a vegan. You know, when I found out that I didn't need meat to eat anymore, I quit eating meat.
I seen you on K-Town's Live. I seen you eating vegan, and I was like, man, I want to do that shit.
31 years.
I want to do that shit.
Going on
31
32
years.
years. I'm going on 32 years being vegan.
Wow.
And you started in prison.
I started in prison as a vet.
How can you be a vegan in prison? They got vegan options.
Well, when we first went to prison, you know, they had rice and beans on the salad bar every day. I mean, federal prison was a lot different than what it has become. When I went there, there wasn't many blacks in federal prison.
Yeah.
I think when I hit the compound, it might have been like 50 blacks. So they had a different menu.
Right.
We had keys to the rooms.
No shit.
Yeah. But all that changed though. You know, the crack law hit. They
With
started bringing them
Biden.
young brothers up in that thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
get
y'all
blooded.
need
Yeah,
keys.
right.
Keys ain't no good. Well, you know,
Wow.
and the brothers, they kind of bring it on themselves too. You know, the brothers come in there, they want to fight with each other, and you know, and tear shit up, and just doing dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? and that made the institution, or gave the institution the power,
Reasons,
to change
Yeah.
things that was happening. When I got there, they was eating steak and lobster, and
Wow.
You know, I gotta say this, man. As
business
dope
was off the chain.
As dope as you are, man, you can be a huge advocate for the community for multiple reasons. First reason is for you to be able to say, like how you're able to admit how the federal prisons have changed due to what the behavior has become, right? Everything about you is about substance, though, and a lot of people don't understand how to deal with substance. And what I mean by that is measurements of how to survive in the real world. So obviously you have that key, and that you should be a mentor to all black men when it comes to just watching your story, and like even all of the money you made, that shit don't mean nothing to you. I can see it don't mean nothing to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though we all want money, that's not the point. I'm just saying, like, I could tell that money ain't what made you. You're just a dope ass individual in general, and we appreciate you, King, for even giving us the opportunity to interview you. We appreciate you for that. So we're back to you was running it up, you was doing your own thing, you scrap metaled the car. After that, what'd you do?
Well, I started off, like I said, me and my boy had 125, we had 250. So we go to my boy, you know, who I've been working for, and I tell him, man, I want to start buying my own stuff now.
Yeah.
So he sold it to me a couple times, but you know, the
Still want to play
the
you.
envy kind of thing started to sink in, and so one day I've been going to the skills center to learn how to do interior in cars with a teacher that I used to play tennis with and stuff. You know, he's my boy. We was tight. So I tell him, no, I go, he's like, man, where you been? I haven't had your interior finished for weeks. You ain't even come get it. You know I already got rid of the car.
Ain't got the car no more.
So I was like, man, you know, I just been. He's like, man, you love that car. I was like, yeah, well, you know, things change. And he's like, man, you doing something.
Right.
I guess he could recognize my clothes or something. You know how you try to hide it, but you can't really hide it because mom's peeped. You know, moms had peeped me out too. So I went on and told him what I was doing. I was like, man, I've been selling cocaine, man.
Yeah,
and
that
like,
car ain't on the back burner.
Then come by the house. So I go by the house and he called this dude up. Dude looked like a Spanish dude, you know, Spanish speaking. I couldn't hardly understand what they were saying. When they introduced us, started buying from dude, and it just went from there, man. Next thing I know, I'm buying 2 pounds, 3 pounds, and now my job is to find people to help me sell that shit.
Yeah, right.
So I can buy more cocaine than I can sell.
Right.
So I just started going to all the homies that was in the same position I was in. Man, you a good motherfucker, boy. You don't steal from your homeboys. You a steal, but not from your homeboys.
Hey, prepping them up. Hey,
you ain't gonna rob them up. You ain't gonna rob me.
Boy, you good.
Let me show you this here. And I just started teaching it, man. And one of the things, like you said earlier, one of the things became that I wanted my homeboys to become millionaires as well.
I want you to eat. Which
is what happened. You know, I created all these dudes who became millionaires, and which only boosted my notoriety and my popularity.
Was you trying to hide it? Was you trying to hide it at some point when you was getting real money? Was it because they say people that got real money, they don't dress like it? You know what I mean? Was you at some point was you trying to hide it?
I never
was a flashy dude.
Yeah, I wasn't a flashy dude. You know, I drove old cars. You know, I might have had like 20, 30 cars. But, you know, they was buckets. But they ran good. You know, you jump in it. You know, like I would have cars and we just take the key and put the key under the floor mat. You know,
right, leave it there,
the key. because nobody ain't gonna steal those cars because they was buckets, but they ran good, and that's really what I drove most of the time.
That's the key. That's the key to the hustle, man. Staying under the radar.
And that's why I got 8 years. You know, I got maybe 8.5, 9 years out of this game. So, which is rare, you know, in this game.
On that level.
Normally, especially your level, it probably would have been a year max making the
If you
money
was flashy,
making.
if you was flashy.
Yeah, most people couldn't identify me if they saw me. You know,
Yeah.
like I would be at one of the restaurants, they wouldn't know that I was who I was. People would be talking about me, and I'd be standing right there.
Yeah.
They didn't know.
Well, and you know you on your square when you supposed to do that. When I'm right here, you're like, so you know about him? Yeah. Okay. And I'm right here, man. You goddamn fool.
Yeah. I remember the first time I went to jail when the student was in there telling them a story about me.
I know Freeway Rick. I know Rick Ross. I know Rick. Yeah, that's my
me out of
guy.
jail.
He's standing next to you.
He's standing right next to me.
Yeah, he on his way to get me.
So, were you in prison? All right, so were you in prison when I don't know if you can talk about it legally or not with the name. Somebody basically swindled your name and tried to make a name for themselves off of your reputation.
Yeah, I was on the end of my bed when that happened. You know, so much stuff had happened in between that. You know, with my supplier, he's the guy that set me up. The guy I used to buy the drugs from. He eventually was the one who set me up, testified against me. But after I learned how to read, you know, I started reading the books just like I sold dope.
Yeah.
You know, all day long. You know, I wake up some mornings and they hitting the door talking about it's breakfast time, and I got a law book, you know, on my chest, sitting right next to my pillow that I've been reading all night. I fell asleep reading it. So when dude told me what he said about the lawyer, nobody should know more about your case than you did. Well, I took that to heart. And I did not want my lawyer to know more about my case, nor did I want my judge, nor my prosecutor. So I studied my case thoroughly, and I knew my case back to back.
Wow, that's so deep, man.
So I eventually won my appeal, and while I knew I was getting ready to win my appeal, and I started thinking to myself, like, I'd already wrote my book too. I wrote my book. When I saw Tookie almost win a Nobel Peace Prize, I said, well, if Tookie wrote a book on gangbanging and he almost won a Nobel Peace Prize, what could I do, you know, with the crime I committed? My crime is what they call a victimless crime.
Yeah.
You know, there's nobody that's going to come in and testify and say, oh, well, he did this to me, he did that to me. That don't happen in drug cases. Drug cases are what they call victimless crimes. So my crime was a victimless crime. You know, so if they'd have cut me loose, there wasn't going to be no family out there protesting.
Yeah, right.
So I understood that. So I said, well, if you wrote a good book, you know, and everything go bad, and you win a Nobel Peace Prize, you still might be able to get yourself out of prison.
Yeah.
That's how I'm thinking in jail. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because they damn near trying to get Dookie out with that book. He almost
pulled it off.
Yeah, they didn't let it happen.
Yeah, he almost pulled it off. So I was thinking like that, right? So I started writing the book, and then I knew I was going to win my case. So then I started thinking, damn, you ain't never did nothing but sell dope, steal cars, and play tennis.
Harmless offense.
And play tennis, and you definitely ain't going to make it in tennis now.
But you thought you was going to make it in tennis.
But now you're 30 years old.
Yeah.
You're 30 years old, 32, maybe a little older than that. You know what I'm saying? So you definitely not going to make it in tennis. Right. Forget that. What you going to do? So my first book I ever read was Malcolm X.
The autobiography.
Yeah. So I read Malcolm X's book, and I was like, man, you could do what Malcolm did.
Change this whole thing. I'm like,
you can do what Malcolm did. Matter of fact, you can do it better than what Malcolm did. Because when I looked at it, I was like, Malcolm is preaching religion. You can teach wealth.
Right.
People need wealth more than they need religion right now. Because, and this is I know some people
I ain't gonna use some of that.
Some people will debate that with me, you know, about religion and wealth. But with me, I grew up in a Christian church. My mom was diehard Christian.
Yeah. I think all black kids when they're growing up. Yeah.
So, but she needed money. You know, we wouldn't have food in the house, and she would be putting money in the
Church.
Still talking religion, yeah.
In the thing. We come home, we got 1 can of biscuits and 6 of us.
Right.
And my mama. You know what I'm saying? We got to bust down. You know the Home
split
Jacks.
biscuits.
And
Yeah,
the
we
Home
got to
Jacks.
split biscuits down the
And then
middle.
we make a sugar syrup.
Yeah.
You know, we take a sugar, pour it in hot water,
Yeah, sugar
boiling
syrup.
it,
Yeah.
and we stopping biscuits. You know what I'm saying? Until the first, like when the first gonna get here, we need them boost downs.
Yeah.
So, when I was looking at all that, I was like, man, black people ain't really evil. Most of the crimes that we do is crimes to get some money.
Right,
Thanks.
right.
So what if a dude, and then I started debating like, where they say money is the root of all evil, and I was like, I ain't never known nobody with no money to go and hit nobody in the head and take their purse
Oh shit.
with a pocket full of money, you know, a bag of money. It's usually the guys who ain't got nothing,
Right,
who do those type of crimes.
right.
So I started to recognize that our situation was more economic
Economic base for sure.
than ill will or,
Yeah,
or savage.
If we got money, we happy. Yeah, we gonna leave everybody alone. For sure.
And that's why I trip off this damn show, Snowfall, man, that's on.
I can't
These
wait to
dudes
talk
got
to you about
all this damn money and they walking around mad all the time. Because you know I got a show called After the Snow where I'm analyzing the show, right?
Nobody. You
Yeah, I started a
gonna have
podcast.
to. You gotta tell about that too.
I wanted to talk to you about, because there was a scene that immediately popped in my head when you was talking about that. I know Snowfall Jack from you when y'all sat around. Well, Snowfall and
Did they
Snowfall
jack it all
Franklin.
from you? That's what I want to know.
We
Did they
gonna-
jack it all from?
We gonna
Oh,
get there. I was just talking about the quote he said. You said that you and your homeboy sat around and y'all pulled up and y'all was like, yeah. And there's a scene where Franklin and his friends, that's the first time they seen cocaine, and they immediately start trying it. But Franklin didn't though. That's the only difference from.
What I'm noticing about the show, they would take sayings and switch them a little bit. You know,
That's what white folk do. It's called culture vote.
They're turking a little bit
Oh, yeah.
there, so it ain't really your. It
It's
was
your
your
story,
fault.
but it ain't your story.
Yeah, so they do that a lot in that show. You know, I'm noticing the sayings.
So
Like they don't even understand. It's definitely not an LA show.
mm,
Let's get that straight now.
ain't no. It really ain't no gang activity either in the Snowfall like it should be.
It's a lot of gang activity.
Well, it was over drugs though.
I think it's more violence in the show than it was actually in LA.
Mm.
I really believe that the show is a perpetuation of hip hop music. You know, it's being influenced by hip hop, what hip hop is saying, and what they thought happened in the 80s. Because when we were selling dope, Crips and Bloods were selling dope on the same block.
Yeah,
Okay, with you being the main plug, was you was fucking with both sides, but
Yeah.
me and main sides on the one side.
I never gangbang. I played tennis.
Yeah, but
till I
I'm
was-
saying
till
you
I was
grew up in that.
19.
And when I was reading that, but when I was reading the book, they said you said you grew up on one side
I did. I grew up with the Crips. But remember, the Bloods used to go to school with us, and we all went to elementary together.
Yeah.
Before, see what happens is when you're in elementary, it's one area, you know, where you go to school at.
Yeah.
Now, if you stay over here, and you might have went to elementary here, but now you start going to high school over there, or junior high school over there.
Yeah.
Now, this side over here go to junior high school over here. But you all knew each other.
Yeah.
You was all
Yeah,
friends.
exactly. Schools do change
So
up.
you was when you came to plug, you was already knew everybody already at that point from school.
They was my homeboys.
Yeah.
We had love
My
for each
boy
other.
just separated.
And we never fought because I played tennis.
Yeah.
I caught the RTD to go to school every day.
Yeah.
So I went to school like 40 minutes away from LA, where they play tennis. All we
Yeah.
did every day, we go to school, get off, out of school, go to
So
tennis.
you was always neutral, and that's what made.
I was neutral.
Yeah, that's what made it.
And they knew
friendly.
me.
Yeah.
Even though sometimes the Bloods would be like, oh man, you over there, you a Ricket, you really a Ricket.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they used to call
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
You're a
yeah,
Ricket.
yeah.
But they never had no problem with
Yeah.
it because I ain't never killed none of their homeboys.
Yeah.
You know, I ain't never shot at them. So
Right.
it wasn't the same type of,
Yeah, energy. That energy is there.
the
Yeah.
energy wasn't there.
Now it's time. I couldn't wait to do this, so we might as well get to it now because we got 21 minutes left, and I know it's going to be a dope conversation. So, with the Snowfall situation, you originally met with them before the Snowfall thing ever happened, correct? And the late great John Singleton, man, amazing producer, director. I love him. I love his work. But I feel like in the Snowfall series, how they did you, from just what I've seen and what's circulated, how they did you is exactly what's wrong with our culture. They stole your story, and now we are watching this fucking multi-million-dollar show while you.
Did you bless them with any of the energy did you give them the blessing
John
to
wrote
any
one
of
of my first books.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
When I got my books, right before my book came out, the documentary came out. I don't know if you saw it, Cracking the System.
I think I did.
Freeway
It's on
Cracking the
Netflix?
System. It was on Netflix.
I seen it.
I killed Netflix.
Yeah,
For a year and a half, I was #1 show on Netflix.
Yeah, I remember.
If you turn on Netflix,
Yeah.
you saw my ugly face.
Yeah.
I watched it. I watched it. I did. I watched it.
You saw the whole country then it saw it. When they hit Netflix, I could barely walk through the airport.
Wow. He branched off from you telling
little
me.
white kids was like noticing me.
Did you get a deal from Netflix? Did they make sure you was
That's
right?
another story.
Wow.
That's another
Man,
story.
they done stole your whole life, bro. That's fucking.
So John went to the premiere with me.
Wow.
We
Of
went
Snowfall?
together. No,
No, to the
documentary.
Freeway Cracking the System. He went to the premiere with me. We sat together doing the premiere. He was supposed to direct my movie, but I ain't gonna lie to you. I was negotiating hard.
Yeah.
I didn't want
as you
popcorn.
should. As you should.
I didn't
You know
want
your work.
popcorn.
No,
I
you
didn't
didn't
want
want to get
peanuts.
paid. Yeah, you didn't
Yeah.
I didn't want no Nikes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't give me no Nikes. I
He's
don't
know
want.
it's a
soaking
big
it up.
deal.
He's soaking it up on the side of you.
I don't want that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that. I want
Wow.
some ownership.
Right.
When I was in jail, you know, I studied guys like Master P. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you was on your shit, basically.
You already knew what you were about to do.
I hear these guys talking about ownership. You know, but I didn't really know much about the record business. If I would, I could have been the king of. I should have been the king of hip hop.
For sure. With the amount of money you had at the time, for sure.
And the connections.
Yeah.
You know, I knew the first.
You knew the street.
Independent record labels. Period.
Yeah.
You know, I know the guy who negotiated Suge Knight.
Harrio.
Me and Harrio was Sellies. But
Oh,
this is before
that.
Before me and Harry was even Sellies. My guy found Anita Baker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I loaned him the money.
Wow. You loaned him, and then
I
he went
loaned
and got
him
that.
money to put Anita Baker out.
Wow.
I gave him
That's
the money
nuts,
to
man.
send to Detroit
Yeah.
to bring Anita Baker back out here.
Which should have been your plug. Or at
It
least it
should've
should have been a 50-50 venture.
So I understood that I could have been the king of hip hop. Easily, I could have been the king of hip hop. If I would have just
From a financial based standpoint of knowing people and having the money and resources to make shit happen. Is what you're
Exactly.
saying. Okay.
I had all of that.
Mhm.
Wow.
DJ Pooh
Yep.
used to be at one of my houses.
Yeah.
He invited me to the studio one day, right? Because he wanted me to do his record.
Yeah.
And I was interested in doing his record. I thought about doing it. So he takes me to this house, and in this house, it's just wires and DJ equipment and guys sleeping all on the floor. So when I got out of prison, because I talked to Dre, when I was in prison, I used to talk to Dre. When I got out of prison, Dre said that he was in that house that day I came to.
Yeah, he was one of the people in there,
In the
like
house.
fucking with pool on the floor or
Yeah.
slinging around.
Yes.
Wow.
So that's how close I
Yeah,
was.
to
Yeah.
touching hip hop for real.
And all I had to do was
Yeah.
take
put
that
money
record,
behind him.
take that record,
Yep.
go to Dick Griffey and Otis Smith and say, this is what I want to do. Now, I went to him and told him about hip hop, but they talked me down. They told me hip hop was going to be like disco.
It's gonna go away.
It's bad. It's going to go away. It's going to go away. If it ain't,
Yeah.
if it
Yeah.
ain't Run DMC, it ain't going to work.
Wow.
So here I am. These guys got gold records.
Oh yeah.
records.
Oh man.
Otis found Johnny Taylor, Bobby Womack.
Oh, you've been a founder.
And Dick Griffey, Dick Griffey on Babyface. Babyface I think was signed to him at the time. The Deal. So these guys are like veterans in the industry. So I'm getting advice from guys who are vets. So when they tell me that don't put my money in hip hop to give Otis the money so he could do Anita Baker's record, that's what I went with. I went with the guys who had all the clout,
Right.
which was a mistake, and I didn't stand.
Follow Joe Hart standing up.
Yeah, I didn't. So that's how I felt like I could have been the king of hip hop. But anyway, me and John went to the premiere together. He bought one of my first books. One of the ones that got demo wrote on.
Yeah. Wow.
He was supposed to direct my movie. That was the plan. We wanted John, because we felt John was from South Central. He knew the story, and he did Boys in the Hood and a couple other movies that.
That put him on the pinnacle of black directors to where you trusted him with Boys in the Hood. Come on, man, Boys in the Hood is a staple of what black movie and life imitating art should be. So that's why John Singleton had that clout, because he made one of the greatest movies of all time, and then he's sitting next to one of the biggest hustlers of all time at a movie theater, and you feeling like you can trust him to the point where, like, look, bro, I'm not taking peanuts. John, I know you got that bread. We got to talk. So what happened after the documentary dropped?
Eventually, John just kind of like disappeared.
Off the face of the earth.
He wasn't answering his phone. His number changed. I couldn't get in touch with him anymore. So I didn't really know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know that he's went another route with the story. That he's changed his mind. And then I'm with Nick Cassavetti, and we go to the Weinstein's office. We sit in the Weinstein office.
Harvey Weinstein?
Yeah, Harvey Weinstein.
You're a pervert, right? You're a pervert name.
Yeah. Okay. Convicted. That's what they say. He was a pervert. I don't know. I didn't get that close to know how he was doing all that.
Allegedly. Hey, that's
allegedly.
all I can say. That's all I can
Let's say allegedly. So they come out the back with a variety like, hey man, John Singleton just got financed for Snowfall. We're not finna do 2 movies like that. We're hot. We walked out the door. So when I walked out, I was like, damn, John did that shit. So it was kind of fucked up. I felt bad. Like John didn't even call me in as a consultant. None of that.
Yeah. He stepped all on your feet, rolled them over.
So tell me this: so you telling me when Snowfall premiered? I'm trying to grasp this, because this is what pisses me off about how they just steal our culture. So when Snowfall premiered, you were at home watching the shit.
I didn't watch this.
Yeah, I ain't gonna watch that.
So how did you find out? Because I don't know if you. All right, so let me ask you this question first. Do you feel like Snowfall was imitating you?
Absolutely.
Okay. So when did you get that call?
That it was imitating me?
Yeah, you had to know right away.
When the premiere came on, my social media went bananas. They was hitting the FX. They was hitting John Singleton. Y'all motherfuckers stole Rick shit. Fuck y'all.
And you never spoke about it with anybody before Snowfall, so nobody even knew to put you tied into that.
But he bought the book before he bought the demo, so there's ain't no way you can.
Script too. He also read my movie script.
You can't.
Was your movie script somewhat like Snowfall?
It's so similar that you could say, well, they're not identical, but how many black dudes grew up in LA, made millions of dollars,
millions,
and the CIA was involved.
Nobody. One.
I didn't want to talk about the CIA because I don't know. Man, I'm scared of fucking CIA personally. I don't know if I'm just weird like that because I watched Snowfall. And them motherfuckers look untouchable, so I didn't want to bring up CIA in this conversation because I live in a little bitty ass apartment and I don't want no smoke. But and I don't got security guards, so I was gonna leave that shit out of the storyline for the show.
Oh, we can leave that out. I ain't got no problem with that. But it's just so many. I mean, when even Franklin, my social media is crazy.
Yeah, I see. I peeped it.
They called me and they said, "Man, listen to how that dude laughed. He's trying to take your tone because my tone of voice, for some reason, has some type of retraction.
Yeah.
It's unique.
It's unique.
Because I've been on the airplane and I have a mask on and people be saying, "Man, I knew that was you." You know what I'm saying? Like, people just they noticing that, and then somebody was like, "Listen to his laugh. Listen to how he's talking."
Yeah, they went and found a person to sound like you.
He's trying to have your tones.
Yeah,
to have that same effect on the people that I have on the people.
I just don't understand why that shit would happen without including you. That's the baffling part.
I already know what happened. Because I was real pissed at John at one time. I was horribly pissed. But see, I'd already met with the 4 most powerful guys in Hollywood without John. John didn't go with me to the meeting.
Weinstein.
I met with I didn't count the Weinstein.
But the thing is, John was with you on the first roundabout. And you chose to have him by your side, and that's the fucked up part.
Yeah, I thought he was my partner.
Yeah, exactly.
I met with Ori Manuel, Jeff Berg, Spencer Boomer, and Michael Linton. A week and a half out of prison, and we're so cold, right? I ain't pat myself on the back, right? But I'm a sharp motherfucker in some areas, not in all the areas, but in some areas, I rank myself up there with some of the best, and it's gonna start to show. So when I go to these meetings, these motherfuckers don't even know why I'm in their office.
Yeah.
They thought I came there to sell my life. They thought I was gonna lay down and roll over on the couch and play dead. And I didn't come here for that. I just came here to be respectful.
Yeah.
My man, he asked me to come see you. I came with him. I don't want to sell my movie. I already had my plan when I left prison. See, I read 300 books before. Because after I learned that I was gonna be getting out of jail, I started to say, well, what you gonna do? What you gonna do for yourself? You don't know nothing. Only stuff you know is stuff that's gonna send you to prison.
Got a question. So, what is some of those favorite books that you read?
Everybody already know my favorite books. All you gotta do is Google it.
There gotta be Laws of Power up there.
No. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
I did see that on Instagram. I think I seen that.
All my books on there, they all on there. I met a little girl the other day. She's like, "What's your favorite books?" And I said, "All you gotta do is Google, because I tell everybody I go. I'm getting tired of telling them because they don't read them. You know,
they ain't gonna read them.
They don't read them. I go to the black schools and I tell them about these 3 books. They don't write it down. I go to Brown University. I'm talking to some of the smartest kids in the country, and I say my favorite 3 books, and I look at everybody in backpacks, pulling out note tablets, and they doing this here, scratching that shit down. I said, man, what's wrong with my people? That's gonna be the title of my new book too.
I seen a podcast you was on, and you spoke on how you, a kid that came from being illiterate and not even being able to read or anything, is talking to some of the most intelligent schools, the most prevalent schools in society.
Spoke at Stanford. They only let 35 kids in this class.
Yeah.
And they took me off the stage and they said, we want you to have lunch with these kids right here. 35 of the smartest kids in Stanford.
That's dope.
Right.
I made friends with them.
As you should. You know, listen,
say less.
If you can't grow with somebody in the room, they don't need to be in the room with you. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, so you know, when I left, man, I read over 35 books. Think and Grow Rich, Richest Man in Babylon, As a Man Think. Really the only 3 books you really ever need to read. I mean, you know, if I had my way, you don't even need to go to school no more after you read them 3 books.
I'm about to read them. I'm telling you, I'm about to read them.
Those books allow me to break out of prison.
Yeah.
Those 3 books allow me to break out of prison. And they're allowing me to do all the things that I'm doing now. I'm going to get my own TV series. I got 3 people right now that's offering me my own TV series.
Man. I can't wait to see it.
You know, and why I say I'm not as mad as John as I used to be, because I understand what probably happened.
He dead
John
now, shit. You
went to
can't be
him.
mad at him no more.
I can still be mad at him.
But go ahead. I want to hear what you was going to say about it.
John went to those people and he told them, he said, I got Rick Ross. I got Rick Ross, who did all this stuff that y'all like.
Right.
He really did it.
Yeah.
They said, no, we don't want him. You know why they didn't want him? Because he wants the story to be told the way it really happened, so the kids won't be running around here listening to bullshit lies. They keep selling our kids bullshit lies, so they can't make the decisions that they need to make. They thinking that you can come out here and kill and mayhem, and you're gonna get rich doing that shit.
Had to do none of that. You ain't had to do none of that.
You can't do it and make it.
Right.
You cannot go out here killing people and think that you're gonna get rich.
So
they don't go together.
But that's like Singleton selling the soul a little bit in a way, right? If you really think about what you just said, because I agree with you. But in a weird way, that's kind of like him selling the culture and selling the soul for a couple dollars because the white folk want it this way. or Hollywood want it this way, instead of going off of this is what our people need to see. And I'm glad
From
you're
the
getting,
source,
I'm glad you're
from
getting
the real
your
source.
series. I'm glad you doing movies, books, whatever you got to do, man. Our kids are misled, they're misguided. We need people like you. I need to be able to look a man in the eyes that been through some shit that I haven't been through, and he can tell me this is what you need to do, son. This is how you should move, son. This is
That's
how
why I wrote that book.
Man, man.
That's why I wrote that book. That book is a letter. That book, when I wrote the book, I didn't know if I was ever going to get to talk to you. I didn't know if I was ever going to see the kids at Stanford and at Philadelphia High School and Manual Arts High School and Crenshaw High School. I didn't know I was going to ever get to talk at them schools.
Right.
I wanted to,
Yes.
but it was a time that
yeah.
it was like, yeah, maybe
Yeah,
not.
right.
You know, it's up to that appeals court. 3 judges had my life in their hand. 3 people had my life in their hand, and whatever they said was going to be the last word.
Well, look, man, Rick, we appreciate you, man. But hey, guys.
You want to give him a panhandle or whatever you want to go.
Now it's time to say goodbye to all my Negro friends. Hey, Caucasians, look, Rick, give them your panhandles, bud.
Hey, y'all can get me at Freeway Rick on Instagram, Freeway Ricky Ross on Facebook, Twitter is Freeway Rick, $, and TikTok, I think it's Freeway Rick as well. Also, if you want to buy my book, please don't go to Amazon. It's on there, but Jeff Bezos, he don't even want your money. He don't need your money.
Right.
I do.
Yeah. So how do they buy the book?
Then go on my website, freewayrickyross.com, and get the book. Also, they can get my merch.
I'm going to get all of his links, and I'm going to attach it to the Smartest Dumb People's videos and all that that's going on YouTube, that's going on Instagram. Shout out to you, King. Thank you for coming through, man. We appreciate you.
Man,
You are a dope individual, man.
I
Look, this is the Smartest Dumb
every
People.
second you gave.
Anthony, that dude, Johnson, Quando, Rondo, Rick Ross, the real Rick Ross.
Real Rick Ross.
Y'all have a good night.
We need to tap into the favorite.
I appreciate y'all for having me. This is the coldest fucking thing that's going on the wall. These the realest niggas
Yeah,
out
you already know.
Like for real, like this is beyond this table. That's why I'm able to talk like this and act like this. Y'all wouldn't get this out of me, bro.